Hello and welcome to Pratik Chess Videos.
Hey listeners, today we're going to see game between Bukhuti, Gurgenidze and Mikhail Tal in the year 1957. So let's start the game. The game started d4, knight to f6, c4, c5, d5, e6. This is modern Benoni. d6 is the Benoni defense and b5 is the Benko gambit and g6 reaches things like the old Benoni. So here this is this whole Benoni kind of system here. Yeah, and see old Benoni here Benoni and also e5 is also played. e5 if idea is that if d into e6 then f into e6. So building a center like this Blumenfeld gambit just with the b pawn. Yeah, it is the Blumenfeld type of variation. So yeah, Benoni was Tal's pet opening, especially in his younger years. So now knight c3, e into d5, c into d5, d6, knight f3, and then g6. Well, trying to develop the bishop g7 and then castle e4. Now opening the center here, making the center strong, and now bishop to g7. Plan is to short castle, bishop e2. Also plans to short castle, also theory. Mainline moves, short castle. Now short castle. And now rook to e8, attacking the pawn, knight to d2, the classical line, and now knight to a6. Knight bd7 is another route for this knight here. Yeah, with the idea to go to e5. So now in the game, rook to e1. Here knight to c7, idea a6 b5. Now a4, restricting this idea. So now b6 is played with the idea to play bishop b7 and something. Now queen to c2, developing the queen, protecting the e4. Yeah, so now h3 is actually more objectively accurate. Uh, yeah, because white has chances to break through after h3 with f4, knight f3, e5, g4. But in the game h3 was not played. So queen c2 was played. And here that's why after queen to c2, rook to b8 was played. Well, nice move here. Rook to b8, before, but rook to b8 is a good, nice move. But knight g4 was played here, which is inaccuracy. This knight jump, I'll say, worked perfectly in this game, but objectively it's not the best move. Here, well, rook b8 was also plausible. So now h3, uh, dubious move, and now bishop into g4 is actually simple and effective. Yeah. So here h3, and now, well, idea after h3 of black is firstly pause the video and think what should be the idea of black in this position. The idea of black is knight into f2. Well, this is a good move. Alright, now king into f2 is forced. But this is a mistake. This is too. Yeah. Wait. Yeah. This is not so good here actually, because uh, here this loses by force. This is too naive. So now in the game, after king into f2, now Tal is now Tal is winning. And how did Tal exploit this? So now Tal exploited this by queen to h4 check, king to f1, and now bishop to d4, queen f threatening queen f2 mate, knight to d1, defending the f2 square, and now queen into h3. Good move, and here actually black is winning. Yeah, this is neat tactics. Here the more obvious bishop into h3 is actually less effective. So after queen into h3, actually after bishop into h3 here, which is a mistake, there's rook a3 and white actually survives. So in the game, queen into h3 and now bishop to f3, defending the g2 square, so that more importantly, well, devising an escape path for the king, or else queen h1 would come with mate. So now queen to h2 idea is queen to g1 check, and then do something. So now knight e3, developing the knight more, and now f5, just crushing through the center. Now knight d to c4, attacking the d6 pawn, but just f into e4, firstly attacking f3. So white can't take on d6. So now bishop into e4, and now bishop to a6. The black bishops are so powerful. The white king, I will here not survive this position. The monarch will not survive. So now bishop to f3, and now rook to e5. Nice rook lift with the idea of rook a8, pressuring on the e3 knight. Now rook a3, rook a8, and now bishop to d2. If king to e2, then bishop into e3, rook into e3, queen to h4. This is a good move. Well, attacking the e1 and the c4 at the same time. So that's why this is a good move. And then b3, rook into e3 check, bishop into e3, rook into e3 check, king into e3, queen into e1 check, and here black is winning. That's why not king e2. So in the game, bishop to d2, but now knight into d5, good move. Now bishop into d5 check, rook into d5, king to e2. If knight into d5, then queen h1 is mate. So that's why bishop king e2, but now bishop into e3, rook into e3, bishop into c4 check. And here this was the end of the game. Well, here if after because if after bishop into c4 check, if white plays queen into c4, if king to d1, then rook into e3, rook into e3, queen g1 check, rook to e1, and then queen to f2. Alright, so this is winning. And here if instead of king to d1, queen into c4, then queen into g2 check, king to d1, queen into d2 mate. That's why white just resigned here. So what were the lessons we learned from this game? Well, first lesson was that here after knight into f2, white was just too here. He didn't pay much attention that you shouldn't take on f2. Here he should have played knight to f3, which is a good move. Bishop into c3, if bishop to d4, which is dubious move. Now bishop to d4 would come c into knight into d4, c into d4, bishop to b5, nice move with knight into s3 check, g into h3, d into c3, bishop into e8, knight into e8, and then queen into c3, which is a better for white. And if bishop into c3, which is the best move after knight f3, then b into c3, knight into e4, bishop to d3. White is here 2 pawns down, but he has wonderful compensation here thanks to the pair of bishops. Here the dark squares in black's camp are especially vulnerable because there's no light bishop. So knight g3, if knight to f6, then bishop to g5, knight c into d5, and then queen to b2. Good move with an attack here with the idea of c4. And if knight g3, which is the nice move, so now bishop to f4, knight f5, and c4 with compensation for the material. Yes, this for uh, compensation for the material. So this was the thing. If you have a sacrifice, first you need to think before accepting it. So this was the game. I hope you like this video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. Thank you.